Um, let's pull up the build viewer. Here's your ship. Now, before we get to the build, let's of course talk about the characteristics of this ship. I think this might have been the first ship that lived in what we call dev hell, developer hell, because it was created, it was tested, and then it was shelved for like a year or 6 months or something crazy like that.
Yeah,
And nobody knew what
it took
happened to it.
forever. I wouldn't even call it death hell because like death hell usually implies that wargaming doesn't know what to do with it and it gets constant changes and stuff like this.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, there were actually no changes to the ship. They just
No, that's true.
didn't do it, and they even released a different German destroyer.
Hmm.
Then that when they initially stopped testing this and had it announced, the other one wasn't even there yet.
And the
like,
funny
was
thing
a
is, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to say that the other one was the Z-39
Mhm.
that eventually got released before that. I remember Little Mouse's famous quote on this, like, good enough, because at this point everybody was like, we're never gonna get T-61, and waiting for it makes no sense.
I remember we all looked at this. We expected it to be nerfed before release. And then one day, out of the blue, Wargaming released it. And we all just kind of looked at each other like, did they just do this? Did they just do this?
You were able to get this as a quote-unquote free ship too, right?
Yeah, I think so, if I remember right.
I think you bought the doubloon bundle or something. You bought something else that was like worth 25,000 doubloons or so.
Yep.
And then you got this on top for free.
Right. Right. And so, like, they released the ship, and we're all just sitting there like, what? Where's the nerf? Like, we all expected, I mean, when we tested the ship, right, like, I mean, she has really good torpedo reload. Her guns are okay. She's got hydro and smoke and just all the things that make a ship like this really fun to play, but also a bit maybe overtuned. And so, like, to see that come through and then make it to the live server without any additional nerfs, we just all scratched our heads. Maybe because it's a tier 6, they just didn't care. I thought it was weird as all hell that they did that, but hey, they did it. So those are the characteristics of the ship. Grunty, let's get into your build, shall we?
Sure.
So we've got ourselves. You've got main armaments mod 1 makes sense. You've got engine boost mod 1 also makes sense. Alternately, as you know, if you main the ship, you could also go for hydroacoustic. But you prefer to do the propulsion so that you can relocate quicker if you need to, right?
It's tier 6. The hydro is good, but it's not like use as offensive hydro like you have on the higher tiers with crazy range on the hydro.
Yeah.
So this is more of a I don't want to get torped hydro.
Yes.
And I think you don't need the extra duration for that.
Right. That's a good point, because the detection ships is only 4 kilometer. If it was the German hydro of the line itself, maybe it'd be more worth investigating that. Okay, and then you do torpedo tubes modification because the strength of the ship is in the torpedoes?
Yeah, I would say though. Like, the guns are not bad, but they're actually a little bit in a weird spot, with them being too good for tier 6.
Okay.
So it has the German regular AP with the 3000 damage and everything.
Yeah.
But the problem is the shells usually don't arm very well, especially not against other destroyers.
Okay.
Because the ships are just too thin, they don't have enough armor. So,
right.
But you could do aiming systems if you want to hit more. Like, the turret traverse is bad, so you could go with the turret traverse mod 2.
Yep.
But since I've spec'd mine out for torpedoes, I'm gonna go with the torpedo mod. Also helps keeping the torpedoes alive.
Okay, that's perfectly fair. And then your last is propulsion, which also makes sense. Your maneuverability is 3.65 seconds. So, just for the lulls, you'd be under 3 seconds if you did the steering gears. You're not going to notice that much of a difference. And if you're sitting in smoke, you got your hydro banging away, torpedoes show up, you want that propulsion. So that makes perfect sense.
Right.
Special captain or standard?
Standard.
Got it. So You didn't go for Lutyens?
My Lutyens is on the set 46 with
Okay.
a spec for it. It's a different spec, so it
Yes.
doesn't make sense for me. Plus,
Yes.
you don't have enough guns to actually proc the gun talent reliably.
No.
So it would be for the spotting, which is nice, but
Yep.
you don't really need it.
Well, okay, it's for the spotting, but it's also for the preventative maintenance buff. Those are the two things
Okay,
that I would think about. But
Yeah.
otherwise, you're right. You don't necessarily need it, so that's perfectly fine. So
You're probably not gonna get 140 hits in that ship.
no,
Probably.
you're gonna. You could if you spec'd it for guns, right? But if you're doing torps, yeah. So preventive maintenance, last stand, fill the tubes, concealment, adrenaline rush, survivability, radio location, and liquidator. So there was talk earlier about what ships to put radio location on. This ship is okay to put radio location on because you know where the enemy destroyer is going to approach you from. You can plan accordingly. Now, I will say this. I want to share with you guys, since some people might be interested in a gun build, what you might do differently here is you might instead go for range. I don't know if range is that important, but definitely main battery here would be useful. Actually, I might drop range and pick up extra heavy. And
I don't think you want extra heavy on it because
Why not?
just simply because it's not improved AP pen angles.
True.
AP is so situational. I wouldn't rely on it.
Okay.
I definitely pick up grease the gears though if you want to go for a gun build to help
Yes.
out with the turret traverse.
Yes, definitely. Now that leaves you with, well, I guess at that point,
I'd probably take the range.
yeah. There's not much else that's there you could really go for.
You can
Hey,
run
Joker.
this build, by the way. Like, I think this is actually the recommended build for the gun, for a gun-centered C-52 as well.
Yes.
And you could run the same build on an L-Bing too if you want to go on that line. Although
But
on the
you
L-Bing I
might.
would take heavy AP.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I just want to put that out there for people who might be watching later on YouTube and thinking to themselves, well, what if I wanted to run guns? So, okay. And then
Like,
for flags. Sorry, go ahead.
I just wouldn't recommend the guns because, like, as a gun build on this ship,
Okay.
you only have the 4. The DPM isn't great. Like, the HE pen is amazing, but the damage on the HE shells is so low.
Okay.
It's gonna be an issue later too in the game. Too.
All right. So for flags, protection, fire chance, flood chance, hydroacoustic time, smoke time, speed, and consumables. Pretty much everything you'd run on a destroyer if you wanted to really either try hard or just focus on like the best, most efficient way, right?
Yeah, the smoke flag is the real tryhard one here. It just gives me like 2 seconds. You would usually not run this unless you want to really go.
Right,
nuts.
right. Now I want to call on somebody. I've been holding off on this. I want to call off somebody in chat who's really special, and that would be Thunder Chief. So there's a shout out for him. Now he's a War Thunder player, which means he's the enemy, right? No, but honestly, he's an awesome dude. He is an American living in Sweden, so I'm glad that he was able to hang out. There's a link right there. If you want to follow somebody who's not a Warship streamer, who does other military stuff and is just an awesome dude, go check him out. He's a really cool guy. So Thunder Chief, I'm glad you were able to come in and stop by today. Thanks for doing so. Thunder Chief wants me to get into War Thunder. He wants me to play War Thunder, and I'm kind of thinking I don't mind doing it, but I think there needs to be some sort of a price tag involved in that.
Wow, hashtag sellout.
Hashtag sellout. Now, well, no, not in terms of dollar amounts to me. I'm thinking about in terms of dollar amounts to stack up. But Thunder Chief and I can talk about that later.
I know what you meant. Couldn't resist though.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm going straight for the cap here. I'm not really afraid of anything.
No.
Obviously a T-22 outspots me, but he's not gonna outgun me.
And oh look, you found the Cachalot. And there's the T-22.
I did smoke up here because there were quite a few ships here and I didn't want to take any unnecessary damage.
No, I agree. It's best to break that contact. You will say War Thunder's aerial combat is extremely fun compared to Wargaming's. Joker, I'm right there with you. I was so excited when they were releasing World of Planes 2.0. I downloaded the game, I played it, and then I uninstalled it because I just didn't have fun. I mean, I couldn't believe that there was no integration with a controller. And it was literally click on the screen. I'm like, how is this fun? So
I pushed up here because I figured I wanted to hydro out this T-22. I'm not actually sure if it was my spotting.
I don't think so. I think the Aoba might have had hydro going.
Possibly. I just wanted to make sure and not rely on him. So I pushed up.
I can't scroll up the chat window, but somebody else is using hydroacoustic search just above. It's probably the Aoba.
Fair enough. I didn't realize it during the game.
No worries, no worries.
I mean, mine was running anyway because I didn't want to get torped in the smoke, so...
Yeah. And now you've got, like, the whole world is open to you, right?
Yeah, it's unfortunately the problem... Oh, problem is kind of wrong, but you have 8-kilometer torpedoes and the enemies are running away, and your detection is 6-1. So... you're pretty much not able to launch your torpedoes on a ship that is running away because the torpedoes won't have the reach.
Now, that's true. Now, I paused it here because I think this is a huge mistake. What have you not noticed on the minimap?
I noticed that the cruiser is coming back towards me.
Okay. Because to me...
But I wanted to get within 8 because I wanted to top the AFK. I know the Oba was coming back. I saw it. And I was like, I don't like it. But at the other hand, I want to get these torps off on him before he has a chance to come back in the game. And it's an Omaha. I'm not worried about an Omaha too much.
Really? Okay. Personally,
I consider an Omaha.
Yes, you consider it, but I look at the Omaha on the enemy lineup. Cruiser-wise, he's the biggest threat to you. And the Rio is right there. Julio's right there. So you getting yourself spotted... It goes back to Rob when Rob was playing earlier. It does bring in an inherent amount of risk. So I just want to highlight that for a minute.
It is definitely a risk. I knew I was getting spotted for it once he turned. But at the same time, I didn't want to back up again. Because, like, okay, I turn out, I can deal with the Omaha. And then everybody's out of range again. And I have to go back. And it just costs a lot of time.
It does.
I felt I was committed at this time and I wanted to get these torps off and I was willing to take the risk.
Okay. Now, I also want to highlight, you're 3 minutes into the game. Plenty of the game left, so maybe a little tad aggressive here. Let's see what happens. Now, you're in torpedo range. You get the shots. You're turning. And obviously, because this guy is here, he's going to spot you. He's going to show broadside. You're going to put AP into his side. Airwolf Sniper, thank you for the follow. Welcome aboard, everybody.
Like, this is pretty much the only scenario where the AP in a T-61 is really good.
Yes.
And it's only good for like 2 salvos. And then the target turns and it's not good anymore.
That's right. Dalmacus D84, thank you for the follow. Guys, those of you who just followed, welcome aboard, and I'd love to hear how you found me and where you're from. But in the meantime, don't forget to type !ticket in chat. We are doing a World of Warships giveaway code for some blue boosters, which are kind of nice for people grinding through stuff.
But yeah, it worked out pretty much as I expected. Like, you see the broadside, I take some citadels in him, he gets scared, turns away, and I'll be fine.
Uh-huh.
You maybe don't need to take that risk at this point. I totally get that.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. Drevny wasn't here, was he? Alright, let's go ahead and I forgot I re-rolled it. Let's draw another winner. Joey. And
I think these... Yeah, sorry.
you're not afraid to open up here, which makes sense. I mean, nobody else is there really to do much.
No, I mean he was scared of me the first time, and a lot of this comes down to confidence level in the ship and your own abilities. If you can open up there without getting punished,
Yep.
or if you can't.
All right. Thanks for the reminder, Botanica. I'm so sorry I forgot that. New giveaway is up and running. Exclamation point ticket gets you in. So, you're still spotted. That should tell you a sub is heading your way towards B, right?
Yeah,
Visby's
I
in the
was
area
thinking.
too.
I mean, there is also the ping in front of me there. I thought I was spotted by a submarine
Mm-hmm.
in between B and C, or the destroyers coming over there.
Okay.
I went over there to deal with them because I didn't want to chase these battleships over there. Like, a torpedo destroyer chasing ships that are kiting away is never fun, and usually
No.
doesn't work out either.
Now, I do want to highlight something else I'm noticing right now on the minimap, and I paused the replay for a second because it's always a good idea to look at the minimap and try to assess what's going on. Look at your A flank. Now, I haven't seen your replay. I don't know what's going to happen, right? But looking at the minimap, I'm thinking to myself, your A flank is doomed. Aopa's way
They
too far
are.
up. The Cachalot is right in front of the Tiger. Giulio will probably die. Rio is healthy-ish. So, you going south like this, the problem with this is you are going to have to find a way back in up north. Now let's talk about the south for a sec. You've got a Belarus that is beached and low to the south. You've got the Normandy who is spotted and he's healthy. U-69 that's almost dead. Fuso that's almost dead. Depending on what the sub at C does, the southern flank might also be screwed.
It's not looking good.
No.
The problem is, like, I can't really help the northern side because all the ships are kiting away and I'm in a torpedo boat. If I wasn't a gunboat, I could be there and shooting. But as a
Right.
torpedo boat, like, I have to go up with them, trying to torp them and hope my torp hits. But that
Right.
doesn't help my team. Like, they're still gonna push up and getting shot in the meantime and die. So that's just like a losing play that wastes time. I thought if I go south, I can maybe deal with that destroyer there and that sub and at least, like, get the B cap for us to get points ticking.
Sure. Now I want
That's
to
the reason why I went there.
I want to point two things out real quick. One is you said because I'm not a gun build. Had you been a gun build, this might have been a different scenario. You might have felt more comfortable staying in A.
I needed the AFT.
Putting that up.
Without the AFT,
Yes.
I wouldn't have done it. With the AFT,
Yes.
you could think about it.
Yes. The second thing is Consulate was very recently spotted heading towards Tiger. You've got Hydro. Now last week I know there was a whole bunch of BS conversation about Hydro and subs. But the nice thing about Hydro with subs is within 2 kilometers it's guaranteed detect. So you're probably the best ship suited for trying to hunt down that Cachalot. Maybe not kill it, but at least hunt it down and force it away from your Tiger. So
I mean, there's 2 subs, right? Like, there's one on the south side too.
true.
So...
But I will say, if I'm looking at the minimap before you went to B, I would think I've got a better chance at keeping the A group alive than the C group. You know what I mean? Like,
maybe. I mean, when I left, we have still the Minakaze over on the A cap too,
okay.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a tough decision. Like, if I
It
had
is.
longer range torpedoes and could torp these battleships on the A side that were kiting a little bit better, I would also be more inclined to stay. But, like, again, 6-1 concealment, 8-kilometer torpedoes, kiting ships.
Yes.
You're gonna get spotted if you want to get close enough to have range on these torpedoes.
I mean, I get it. I get it completely. So, and that's the difference when you're playing a T-61 that's a hybrid ship. That's the difference between a torpedo build and a gun build right there, what Grunty just said. And that's what you need to decide what's more important to you when you decide to build a hybrid ship, because a hybrid ship does well at either of those two choices, right? Okay, let's get into the
It's-
replay again. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good in the way you spec it. It's not gonna be amazing, but it's gonna be good in that way. But I
Melvin
think if
Mahler, hello.
I just think like if you can spec the T-61 for a torpedo, it's gonna be
Mhm.
an amazing torpedo boat. But it's never gonna be an amazing gunboat, even if you spec for it.
And that's also the problem with hybrids, is that they're not great at both, or they're okay at both. You can spec one way or the other, um, but it's not perfect otherwise. So, and Cookie, good to see you. I'm sorry I didn't ping you that we had started doing replay analysis. That's on me.
Is that the way with all German? Yes, it kind of is, but if you go higher up on the tiers, like especially on the 9 and a 10, you have a much bigger stealth torp window, so you don't run the risk of getting spotted while trying to get your torps off into chasing ships.
Right. Okay, so up to the north, your Aoba died. We kind of expected that to happen. Minekaze and Tiger are up there by themselves. That's kind of a problem. Because it's 2-on-3 now.
Yup, but we got the B cap, and I don't know why I spotted a Lisby there. I think he
So,
shot or something.
he shot. So what's going to happen is you're going to deal with C. The enemy team is going to win at A, and then you're going to have enough time to go back north again. Because that's...
Yeah, that's the hope here. We need to win C here quickly enough that we can get back to the B cap before the enemy team gets A and B.
Right.
Because what the play did, like we have the cap, like the enemy right now has no caps. So if we can clear this, get the C cap, and then hold the B cap, we're gonna win.
Right.
If they have to push into me, I'm at an advantage with my torpedoes. So
Also, I would have been using my engine boost a while back when you were spotted and you know you aren't going to stay dark.
yeah, probably should have used it earlier.
You actually would have dodged the... oh, look, it's the Stacko camo. You actually would have dodged that submarine ping. It didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah. I'm not too worried about dodging submarine pings. Gotta be more worried about dodging the actual torpedoes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear anything about my shooting, by the way. I know it's bad.
Grunty is definitely not a gunboat destroyer main. Confirmed.
I will happily admit that aiming is definitely one of the weakest aspects of my game.
These are, I believe, 128mm guns. They've got pretty heavy flight time.
They're okay on the flight time. They're not amazing. Like, they're better than American ones or British ones.
Yeah.
But they're worse than IGN ones. And I'm not using the aiming system mods either. The dispersion is not the greatest.
Now, Melvin Mahler...
Did the job though, like we killed together the Wispy here. I kept the battleship alive,
Right.
and our submarine hopefully can take out the Fuso here.
Melvin Mahler just followed. And Melvin Mahler, I'm wondering if that's Melvin von Mahler, who is somebody that I remember from the STW days of hanging out in their TeamSpeak. Is that you, Melvin? Now you're firing torpedoes now, figuring the Fuso is going to continue its turn, and therefore get within your range. No Von Sally. Okay,
yeah,
no worries.
I mean, he was pinged and torped by the sub, so I thought
Yeah.
he would be turning in and go after the submarine. And the beauty of this destroyer is like the torpedo is so great, like you can just fire out aerial denial torpedoes.
Right. Yeah, this ship is really good for luck chucking torps. Well, meanwhile, back up to the north, Minekaze's by himself. I would smoke
but
here. Too late. Maybe
Yeah, a
not.
little bit too late.
Nope,
The
he did
Kamikaze
shoot
did
you.
a kind of good job though so far. Like, but the enemy team hasn't been able to push and get the A cap. Like,
Right.
yes, everybody else died, but uh, they are slow. They are slower than we are, and
Yep.
that's the important point.
Right. Although he is detected now, as there are 3 ships heading to A.
And here's the weakness, like, of this. Like, you see how little damage I'm dealing. Like, even if you spec for guns, like, you only do your little damage a little bit quicker, but it's
Well,
still not great. Like, you shatter on stuff like Fuso still.
yeah, you are shattering a lot. That is true. Runty attacked Alcatraz. Yes, that's true. Oh, good hit on you in smoke just before he dies.
Yo, that was an amazing blind fire.
Yeah, right? I've noticed that people in this game are getting better and better and better at blind firing people in smoke. Explode the Sun. I love the name. Welcome aboard. Thank you for the follow, dude. I don't know if you're a Warships player. If you are, make sure you type !ticket to get in. Saw a clip of mine on YouTube. I can't believe I'm live. This is so cool. Well, thank you. Which clip was it? Oh god, there goes your Koch a lot. Alright. So, I think you need to just W straight at the sub.
I think I'm doing that.
Well, you're kind of at an angle. What I'm getting at is like straight at the sub, because you know he's gonna go after the Normandy.
Fun fact, he's not.
Well, okay. I mean, it's you,
And I think
the Normandy,
he
and the
shouldn't at
Minakaze.
this point. I think what the sub is doing here, he's trying to get the B cap,
Yes, he is.
and I think it's actually the correct choice for him.
It absolutely is. Unfortunately for the enemy sub, he waited too long to turn back around. And
I think it just took him too long. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't turn that quickly at tier 6.
But what I'm getting
So-
at is he was staying surfaced while he made the turn. He would have been better off if you had gone to periscope depth at least.
That is true.
And
I
then
don't know
surface
about
once
his
he knew
dive
it was clear.
capacity, though. I have no idea what he had left. Didn't look at it.
That Julio Cesare is still alive.
Yep, my team over the Minikaze did a good job staying alive, but they actually killed absolutely nothing over there.
Unbelievable. Now, the reason, by the way, the sub doesn't go after the Normandy is very simple. You're the bigger threat and you're right in front of him.
Yeah, I'm in the way. They're spotting everything.
Yes, exactly.
I think they need the caps too, though.
No, they
I
do.
would have probably made the same decision.
I almost wonder if somebody told him in chat after he'd already planned on what he was gonna do, right? Like, dude, WTF are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, go someplace else.
I'm going out of my smoke here on purpose, I think. No, actually, I didn't. I wanted to get out of my smoke, trying to see if I can get a spot on a submarine so we can interrupt it once
Okay.
again.
I
But
mean,
apparently I sped up too quickly, and I didn't actually get out of my smoke.
Personally, I would get the kill on the Julio first.
I mean, yeah, I was still shooting the Julio. Like,
Right. But what I'm saying is, there's no need for you to get out and get yourself spotted and shot at this point. Who cares that the enemy team gets the B cap? I mean, you're up on 600 points.
it's true.
So,
It is very hard to throw that, but on the other hand,
yeah,
you can always eat a random torpedo from a submarine.
right.
So
Right. Okay, cool. So, Explode, you're talking about when I subbed the when I torped the sub with my, I think it was a Tago or something. Cool. I believe it or not, I also did that with the duplex. that's just now coming out. I did that when I played the ship and I wanted to review it, and there was a sub that surfaced. I'm like, all right, just die. It took him out. All right, why are you heading this way at this point? You trying to zone out the enemy sub?
Yeah, I knew the sub was in this channel, and I actually
Oof.
wanted to go towards it.
Okay.
And yes, I know I have no hydro.
No, but whatever. The important thing is that you were smart enough to DCP when you did. Maybe a little bit delayed on it, but still, you dodged the torps. That's what matters. Slowing down to get the cap?
Yup.
Alright, and then go right into the channel, yeah? No. Why did you turn south again?
I think I just threw torps in that. Probably changed my mind mid-approach and like, maybe it's not a great idea to go with the sub anymore. Because
Okay.
I did notice that our Minikaze was probably dying, and I figured, like, if I die then too, and they somehow kill the Normandy,
Okay.
I shouldn't.
Well, I mean,
And then-
we had the first decision point earlier, and now we're at the
This-
second, right?
Yeah, it was a bit indecisive because I think now I'm actually going back in again. So it's a moment of not sure what I'm supposed to do. Oh, right. He's got himself spotted there. That's
So
what happened.
the important thing about him right here is he doesn't have dive capacity left. So I would absolutely go after him. Looks like that's what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm going after him. I knew he was super
Okay.
low there now.
I mean, you got 2 minutes left.
And I figured, like, even if he tries to shotgun me and launches the torpedoes, as long as I kill him first, we're gonna point out at Southern immediately, so it doesn't matter if I die afterwards.
Okay. That's true. I mean, if you look at the way he was positioned, he's definitely right up against the rock, so it's going to be hard for you to go after him. Which is smart on his part. There he is. Alright, well, that's it for him. And there's the victory. Stream Raiders is up. Not a bad game. You had
Would
a
be
7
nice to
Citadel
have.
rocket strike kill on your Colossus.
Would be nice to have another Hydra just to be safe there in the end.
Yes, but
But picking up Superintendent is tough. You have to sacrifice quite a bit for it.
right. If you had a heal, that might be different. Look at that Omaha that you torpedoed. He got 4 base XP.
I didn't even get the kill on him. Someone else
Nope.
sniped it. I was...
He must have gotten some spotting damage or something, which is hilarious. Yes, I am streaming
Probably.
Fun Night later. That's correct, sir.
What is really irritating about this whole thing, though, is like if you go over the enemy submarine and look at the damage I did to him.
Okay. Oh, is this what you complained about earlier on Discord? I think I saw this.
I posted it yesterday, I think.
Your enemy submarine, the U-69. You hit him like a ton of times and barely did any damage. Is that the one?
Yeah, like look at this. 38 hits for 9,500.
Hmm. Saturation, hitting modules, and then the game just doesn't like you. Hey!
And crap German HE.
Crap German HE. So I will point out that there were a couple times this battle where you said, if I had a gun build, you would have done things differently. And so what I think is so cool about the T-61 being a hybrid, it's flexible enough to go either way. So I want to put that out there. This game could have been very different if you had a gun-centric build instead of torpedo-centric.
The thing, what would have been probably funny is like if I was a gun-centric build,
Mhm.
I would have stayed on the north side and we killed the north side.
Right.
But then probably our south side completely falls and we lose the Normandy there, and then they push in with the submarine and the destroyer and the Fuso from the south side.
So you definitely screwed with the enemy sub's plans to the south, right? As soon as you showed up down there, he got very, very passive. He backed off
I
quite a
think he
bit.
got nothing done
Right,
after the moment I showed up, except for the kill on our submarine in the B cap.
right.
That was the only thing he got done after I went south, and there's honestly no way of me preventing that.
Right. And I think that's the hard part, right? Is it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you stay, then you lose the south. If you go, you lose the north. What's more important?
I think if what should have happened in this game though, our catch lot that comes with me from the north side in the B cap, he's the one that should have stayed north, definitely, to top all these battleships still. I
Yeah.
don't know why he left.
Yeah. There was no reason for him to. But
I guess he
Oh, well.
wanted the B cap too, but yeah, like he has nothing on the south that he can actually torp anymore.
no,
Like,
so I think
that battleship is already super low.
Mhm.
Like, he has more targets north.
I kind
And
of get
he's
the
not gonna
feeling
intercept anything.
I kind of get the feeling that the Cachalot is thinking he's a destroyer and he's playing like he would play a destroyer.
Maybe.
And you're right, if he would have stayed north, then he would have had happy fun times against the Giulio Giuseppe and the Rio de Janeiro, but that didn't happen. I got
So
nothing.
you said earlier I can't control what they do. I mean, I didn't tell him to go north either. Like,
Right, yeah, you weren't typing
I
much
was
to
very
them.
focused on my own game here.
You were. And I've kind of gotten that vibe watching you play live, but also in your replays. You're very much a solo player. You don't really do much team play because you just don't expect it. And so, like in this game, you didn't even try for that team play, right? Like you didn't say anything in chat like, Cachalot, why are you here? Can you stay at A? Or something like that.
Come to the realization after so many games that the chance that the player is actually listening is very, very low. And if they don't listen, and I told them, I'm just gonna get mad because they didn't listen. So if I don't say anything in the first place, I'm saving my sanity and probably play better myself because I'm not invested in them.
Okay. So, Grunty, I forgot to ask you about the Ruprecht. I need some ideas for that Ruprecht ranked game, but in this game, in your T-61, I'm thinking, since I'm listening to Linkin Park, I'm thinking about calling this game Hybrid Theory. What do you think?
I mean, we talked a lot about the hybrid builds and the thing. Like, I didn't play it as hybrid, but it makes kind of sense. You can do that. And now
We've
you want a
definitely
suggestion
highlighted that.
And you want the suggestion from me for the Ruprecht game now?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it'd be helpful. And Exploded, thank you. I'm really good at this. You also love the jams. Hey, you can also request some music. You just type in song request and then the title of the song. And you can, or if you know a specific URL, you just copy paste the letters and numbers after V question equals or whatever it is.
There's really not much to go off after that Ruprecht game.
Honestly, the Ruprecht game, we talked about the hydro usage, we talked about ammo choice, and then we kind of
like
talked
you wanna-
about the cap, but that's about it.
Yeah, you can only like ammunition choices is not a good title for a video.
Right.
Especially since it didn't really make a difference.
No.
Like-
Elusive, I think you need to type out song request. Are you gonna be my girl? And spell gonna be right? I think that's gonna with an O.
I'll think about it. If something comes to my mind, I'll tell you later. But right now,
Please
I'm
do.
drawing a blank.
That's my problem too. All right. Well, hey, thanks for sending that replay in. That was fun to look at.
It's a fun ship.
Oh God, yes, it is. It's a fantastic ship. All right, so let's go into Stream Raiders.